Austin, Mexico, Brazil, Vegas, Qatar, and Abu Dhabi. Only 6 full races and 3 sprint races left of the 2024 F1 season. And me just saying that feels a bit weird, because I could have sworn it just started the other day. Maybe I'm getting old, I don't know. But the time has gone by so quickly. I was originally gonna say it wasn't that long ago Max Verstappen won the season opener in Bahrain. But really, that feels like a distant memory at this point. It's almost like there's been 2 different parts to 2024. The first 5 races where Red Bull had a dominant car, and then the rest of it. Since Miami, I'm telling you, it felt like we blinked and ended up in this position. 2 back-to-back triple headers, all in the span of just 2 months. We're gonna get straight into these predictions, and feel free to roast me in the comments because some of these are about to be delusional as hell. Starting with this, Perez will win the Mexican Grand Prix. Yeah, I know, I'm out of my mind. But I do like to promote a little buffoonery on this channel nowadays. This is more of a speak it into existence kind of prediction, but it is something that I'd want to see. I made the same prediction back in 2021, and his best chance would have been 2023 since the Red Bull was on another planet. But he decided to take flight.
Hey bro, watch your jet. Watch your jet, bro. Watch your jet!
This year is quite possibly the worst chance he has at winning his home race. There's 7 other drivers who can and probably will beat him. But it would be cool to see his first win of the season be in Mexico, and it would add to the list of the fairy tale victories we've had this year. I would have said this with more confidence had I made this video straight after Baku. That race, it really felt like he regained his mojo, before him and Sainz attempted to summon the safety car. And on that real quick, when was the last time we saw Burn My Lander, man? Bro is paid hundreds of thousands, possibly millions a year, gets his travel and accommodation paid for while traveling to every race on the F1 calendar. And those weekends where we don't see him during a race, he gets paid to do nothing. This is my kind of life, man, just wait on it. I'm gonna be driving that safety car real soon. Anyway, Checo probably won't win at Mexico. His teammate is way too OP at that track for him to even get a sniff of that win. And while we're on the topic of Max, I think he'll still win the Drivers' Championship. This is less of a hot take than the Perez prediction. He's leading the championship by quite a distance still, and has Norris as his title challenger. I've already said this before, but put Lewis, Fernando, or Charles in that McLaren, and we're calling it a done deal. But also, Max is just that guy. This isn't his best season by any means. I rate 2021 and 2023 way higher for him. Since he's had more competition now, we've seen more mistakes from him. But having said that, with increased competition, he's also shown some serious wheeling, I won't even lie. And you can look to as recent as the last race in Singapore for exactly that. While his car was nowhere near as good as the McLaren, he still managed to finish ahead of Oscar. Also, for all 3 of Norris's wins, Verstappen has finished second every single time. Which isn't a lot, but it's weird that it's happened thrice in a row. If he were to continue that trend to the very end of the season, he'd win the championship by a single point. And that's exactly how I think this championship will end. Bringing us to our next prediction. Obviously, because I predicted Max to win, I think Lando's going to finish second by 1 point, which might be the funniest thing to happen this season. Not for the Lando fans, of course, who have gone through an insane amount of trolling this year. And if he were to lose by just a point, all hell would break loose. I assume most people would highlight Ricciardo taking the single point for fastest lap away from Norris in Singapore. But aside from that, given the number of times he's choked this year, it'll only make things that much more painful. But if he does end up winning, then I think it'll also be pretty entertaining to see the collective head loss from certain F1 fans. Cause somehow, Lando has managed to trigger every single fan base this season. With Max fans, it's things like Simply Lovely, huh? Or Austria, or him telling on Verstappen after Baku.
Max is overtaking everyone, it's still a VSC, right?
With Lewis fans, it was this moment in Hungary. And more recently, this little clip from his Twitch stream.
Toto Wolff issues health update on Hamilton and Russell. Fucking hell, it's tough for everyone. Why do they think that everyone's got heat stroke if they've got heat stroke, you know?
Oh my god, this guy, bro. I'm convinced he actually wants people to hate on him. He's also got Australians on his back after he bullied Ricciardo for 2 years straight, and now with Piastri. The way he acted in Hungary was a bit disrespectful, I'm not gonna lie. But having said that, McLaren put their drivers in the worst position possible, so I'm gonna have to lay the blame on their feet on this one. Nevertheless, Oscar wanted his get back and blessed us with a clean sweeping move around the outside of his teammate on the first lap in Monza. And no, I won't stop raving about this. For anyone who can appreciate racing, this move was perfectly executed. No hesitation, no fear, no contact. But as most of you know, this was a controversial overtake. Why they would allow their 2 drivers to race and lose an easy 1-2 finish still makes no sense to me. And my 4th prediction is that we'll get another McLaren controversy before the year ends. We've already got the guilt tripping in Hungary. We've also got papaya rules from Monza. And that's not even mentioning the off-track stuff they've been called out for. Like, do y'all remember this? I seem to remember political statements not being allowed. This is another certified FIA moment. And this was an L from Zach Brown, bro. Not only did he put Lando in this awkward situation, but also inviting someone who says stuff like,
The dogs, the people that came in, they're eating the cats, they're eating...
On top of that, there was the mini DRS controversy. Now real quick, for those of you who aren't aware of what I'm talking about, let me give you the rundown. This dude on Twitter posts a video of Piastri's onboard from Baku. In the video, you can clearly see that the tips on the upper element of the rear wing raised just ever so slightly on the straights. This obviously caused people to start talking about it more and more. In fact, this tweet had so much reach and influence that it eventually reached people in the paddock. Max saw it, Charles started referring to it as mini DRS like everybody else on the internet. As a result, Red Bull lodged a formal complaint, as they always do, and were successful in their appeal. Apparently, according to Marco, they complained to the FIA 3 times about the McLaren rear wing, but the FIA dismissed them. And let me just say, it wasn't just Red Bull who were sus. Ferrari were also unhappy with it, which does make sense, since these are their direct competitors. They'll do anything in their power to try and slow them down as much as possible. Anyways, McLaren have now been forced to make modifications to their rear wing, and this Twitter user will be immortalized in F1 history forever. It's actually hilarious how this all started on that app, bro. My guy was out here with eagle eyes. He really saw Charles struggle to overtake Oscar and said,
Hold up, wait a minute, something ain't right.
Nah, this cannot be. Leclerc and Baku, nobody should be beating it. So he entered the lab and got straight to cooking up the detective work. And in the end, it kinda paid off. I mean, they're not allowed to use it anymore, but the only other race McLaren would have used it is Vegas, because of the very long straights. However, that's just a single race out of 6. And when you look at how dominant Norris's Singapore drive was, it's gonna take a lot more than just targeting their rear wing. They're gonna need to nerf that entire car for anyone else to even come close. Now, if you thought the Checo prediction was delusional, just wait until you hear this one. Kick Sauber will score a point by the time the season finishes. I don't know how, I don't know when, but all I know is that it will happen. Bookmark it right now. And I actually feel bad for these guys, man, because at the start of the season, they actually had opportunities to score points, but their mechanics were literally taking minutes to make pit stops. Bottas was on pace to finish in the points in Australia, but then he got his race ruined because of this. He was also challenging for points in China, but then his car broke down. In Japan, again, he came so close, but got unlucky with pit stops again. Zhou's closest chance was during the first race in Bahrain, where he finished 11th. And I'm sat there like, really, bruh? If someone in the top 10 would have just taken one for the team and backed off just a little bit, we wouldn't have this problem. But sadly, the first few races were a long time ago. And since then, their car fell off harder than Rice car. Now, there's almost no hope of scoring any points. Unless we get a crazy race, which at this point, I won't even be surprised by. It's probably going to be in Vegas, so I'm calling it right now. That race, we're going to see Bottas score points and a Lance Stroll win.
Fuck no, baby.
Okay, maybe that's a little bit too delusional, so let's dial it back a bit. Charles Leclerc is going to win the Vegas Grand Prix. He was so close to taking it last year were it not for Max. But hold on. Peep this move.
Sensational.
Charles Leclerc's going for it to the inside. What a move, Charles Leclerc.
Yeah, buddy. I'm telling you, now Ferrari aren't that far off being the fastest car. Watch Leclerc make all the difference. On top of that, I think Ferrari will finish second in the Constructors. I don't think this is a hot take, since Red Bull are currently on the decline, but there's no way they're beating McLaren. And they're only 34 points away from P2. That seems a lot more realistic than attempting to go after McLaren at this point. I mean, don't get me wrong, there was a time I believed they would win the Constructors. But like with most other Ferrari seasons, they build up your hopes, only to brutally crush them into oblivion. It's already bad enough watching Charles get cooked 90% of the time. And now I'm possibly going to see him and Lewis get shafted together. I actually don't know if I can take that, bro. I might stop watching. Speaking of Lewis, I reckon he'll win one more race before his stint at Mercedes comes to an end, which has been the most successful pairing in history. I've got a big video in the works for that because, I mean, you know, how could I not? But when it comes to where I think he'll win, it will probably be Austin or Brazil, mainly because he goes so well around Kota. But for the past 3 years, Mercedes have fumbled the bag on strategy in ways I can't even comprehend. You know how they say insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result? Yeah. Every single year they've had a race there, they finished second to Max, making the exact same mistake of pitting too late. A win in Brazil would be for the culture, but judging by last year, I'm not expecting much. And who knows, maybe he wins the season finale in Abu Dhabi. What a way to close the chapter that would be. For the last 2 predictions, I think Haas will finish ahead of VCarb. Hülkenberg has been going crazy. But to be fair though, so is Tsunoda. Ultimately, I think it's going to be a close finish since they're only separated by 3 points. But given how poorly the Ricciardo situation was handled, I already know there's a bunch of people preying on the team's downfall. And finally, I think after winning this championship, Max Verstappen will retire from F1. Genuinely, that FIA fiasco might be the last straw for him. On top of that, the team is in disarray and their prospects for next year ain't looking too good. If he is to stay, it'll probably be out of loyalty and respect to the team that he's achieved so much success with. But from the way Max himself has been talking in interviews, I wouldn't be surprised if he pulled a Nico Rosberg on everyone. I hope you all enjoyed. Let me know your predictions for the next 6 races down in the comment section below. Please like, share, and subscribe to the channel if you're new to get my latest videos in the future. And as always, I'll see you in the next one.